Me komi pinesi koendis nikas. My name is Stella Ketchemonia. Like I said, Ketchemonia, I was married into the name Ketchemonia. It really means big white man or great white man. So, but I don't know. I never came across one throughout my whole marriage in the family. And I have 7 daughters. Most of them. The oldest one is not teaching. She makes the star quilts and ribbon skirts and the handbags and stuff like that. She does the sewing. Her name is Eunice Ketchemonia. And the others are teaching. The youngest one is not teaching again. And my son, Ugima Khan, his chief right now. He just got in just not too long ago. Lee Anthony Ketchemonia. And he's learning the language. And he's coming along really well and quite good. And he's the only son I have. The rest are all daughters. And they do not have English in the cultures, like in whatever they're doing. They do not have. We came to an incident, and I thought to myself, I don't want to change anything. They've done this hundreds of years where they spoke only the language in the lodge. But how is that person going to learn? He's got to get out of the lodge and start learning it out there on the ground, I suppose, like Senator Ted did. He started learning, and now he's just right involved in it. If he can do it, so can others that are struggling to learn. Like the people that sit in there, the young people or the non-speakers, they have no clue. And the ones that are sitting outside, the women, they have no clue as to what this person is saying. And they want to learn they want to understand that person. But Senator Ted did. He was in that position once. So I suppose it has to start from the bottom, go up slowly. And there are some already doing that. That's exactly what they're doing. The sun dance, the same thing. Council dance, the same thing. These sun dance and rain dance that they're saying, there is no Nipaguesimo in that's a sun dance or the rain dance. There is nothing there about rain or sun. And council dance, the same thing. There is no council dance. If I said, and that's exactly what the words are really. It describes exactly what we call the sun dance and the rain dance, Nipaguesimo. As I was told by one, maybe there are certain things you can't write down. Maybe they're not meant to be written down. Somebody much older than me. So I just have to remember them because there are certain words that I don't know. And so I just have not written those words that they don't want them to be on paper. So does it come there as alive or? They're sacred, definitely. Not all words, but some. I've taught a lot of people that know the language now because they were speaking it from nothing before. And I used Nimasinahiganes, that's one of the books I authored, and he followed that very closely. That's Senator Ted Cruz's. And now he speaks at lodges, whatever ceremonial lodges we have. And I have to say, he's really quite good. I was really amazed at how well he speaks now. And I keep telling them, our language, the Saulteaux language, is very descriptive, especially because we had to learn a lot of things that we didn't have before. For instance, a house. We didn't have a house. But in English, do you know what a house is if you didn't know what a house was? No, because it doesn't describe really anything. But when you say a house in the language of ours, it does describe, it kind of picture what it is. Wakaigan, like it kind of describes exactly what it is. And the same thing with window, like window. What does that mean in English? It really doesn't tell you anything, does it? But when you say Wasenigan in our language, it describes the language very clearly. Wasea, it's shiny. Wasenigan. And of course, anything you say in Wasenigan, the ending of it, the suffix part of the noun, it always tells you that it's not real, that it's but it's there, of course. So that's the best way and I've taught a lot of people, and I feel so I feel like I cheated my children, my grandchildren. They do not speak. Two are learning it now, and they're very close to learning the language now. But I was not always like I was young at one time. I was not always this as old as I am now. So they did not know. Like life went on. Before you know it, these little ones that I was my children, they're adults now and they're having children and they don't know how to speak the language. That's that was such a terrible thing I did to my children, an injustice to my children because they did not know how to speak, because they don't know how to speak. Even though now that I didn't live on a reserve either. So now that I'm with them, most of the time, the older ones, they're catching on a lot of the language. And I always tell them, you're not going to learn it just from reading. You're not going to learn it from just listening or saying, I hear, I know, I understand what you're saying. It has to come from your own mouth. Otherwise, you're not going to know the language. And that's what Ted did. It came from his mouth. He didn't just read it. I had a CD and a cassette with Nimansinaiganes. That's my little book. And he listened to the CD. He travels a lot driving around. So he listened to the CD and it goes with the book. Right now, I'm trying to find out how I could do an app because he asked me if I could do an app on that book. Oh, I hope I don't have much time. I don't have much time to do all this work that I should have done long ago. And I didn't start learning how to read or write the language either. I was in a classroom, and then an elderly lady came to me, and she was doing the language. Her name was Jean Kishane. And she said, "You know what?" She said, "You're in the wrong place. This is not what you should be doing." And I wondered what she meant by that. And I said, of course, we were speaking the language, and she spoke good, and I think I speak quite well. And I asked her, why do you say that? And she said, we have a lot of teachers that teach now. She said, they all have the language. They have the Saulteaux language, she said, but they're not speaking it, she said. But they're teachers. But you can speak, she said. You're a good speaker. They don't speak at all, she said. So maybe you should think of doing what I'm doing. She said she was going to retire soon, and I should follow her. I said, those words are like this. I said, how am I going to ever learn how to do that in just a short time? She said, you will learn. She said, just. So then I tried very hard to get into a class that had the Saulteaux language. And they said, no, we don't teach, because I was teaching throughout the year. And she said, no, we don't teach languages in the summertime. We're on holiday, she said. I said, there's got to be a way to do this. I said, I was really struggling now, and I was trying to fight my way into getting a class in the summertime. And she said, well, ask this lady. She said, Margaret is her name. Margaret, she's deceased now. And I said, I'll call her. I said, I know who she is. I said, I'll call her and see what she can do. And she said, if you really want to learn the language, she said, I'll teach the language for you for the summer holidays, a summer class, because you don't have to have the other classes because you've been in a classroom for so long. All you have to know is learn how to read the language and how it's written. So that's what I did, and that's how I learned. So then I thought, now to find out who is going to hire me to teach now, I thought the language. I got out of the classroom and started looking for a job as a Saulteaux teacher. And that's how I started writing. Right away, I started authoring some books so that I could write the language because I didn't know, I was illiterate. I didn't even know how. They brought me this great big brand new outfit of typewriter and everything else, printer to go with it. I sat there and looked at it. I'm not only going to learn how to read and write, I thought, I have to learn how to use this outfit. This is at the university now. That's where I was hired. And that's how I started. Now computer starts. I didn't even know how to turn on a computer. Then I started writing. I learned. It didn't take long to learn, but that's one of the struggles I had. That's it. That's it.